Hello, and welcome to the webinar covering the Agile Ticketing Update for version 6.40. We are very excited to introduce you to the significant benefits to the Agile Ticketing system. The first enhancement we're going to cover today is with our membership and pass renewal process. We've made it easier for customers to see and renew their multiple memberships or passes during the renewal process. This can be ones that they are named on or ones that they have purchased for someone else. Let's take a look. We'll start by clicking on the renewal option. Since we're already signed in, we see a list of memberships that I have associated with my account. The already selected Agile membership is a dual, which me and my spouse are on. The other two memberships are for family members that I have purchased or renewed on their behalf in the past. I can see valuable information about each of these memberships to determine which I need to renew. I know the member number, member level, who is on each membership, and when they expire. This allows me, as the primary purchaser for the family, to take care of all membership renewals in one order. However, both student user and grandparent user can still log into their own accounts and renew theirs if they want to. We'll go ahead and renew my dual membership, and we're going to upgrade to a higher level. We'll add that to our cart, and if we want to renew any of the other memberships, we can go back to that renewal option again. Choose the ones we want to renew and add as many as we need to finish out that process and get all of the family's memberships updated. The next enhancement on our list is some updates to the merchandise and concessions area. We have added the ability to define vendor name and the product SKU level to make it easier for reporting and reordering. We have also changed how we handle product inventory. Let's take a look. We'll pull up our online merchandise options and choose a product. When looking at this t-shirt, I can now see a vendor name for each SKU. If we pull up a particular SKU, I can choose from my list of vendors or add another one if needed. This small change should help with those in the organization that deal with reordering of the products. While we are here in this area, we'll also talk about the other change with product inventory. We used to have the option to mark an item as either unlimited inventory or that we were tracking inventory numbers. This meant we had to make a choice of either following strict inventory controls or no inventory controls. This would present scenarios when tracking inventory and we had product to sell, but the system thought none were available. In this case, it would restrict the sale of the item. We have provided a more flexible solution that is a mixture of the two previous modes. We can now define what happens when the system sees no available inventory. We can control that an agent could sell at zero available or that web sales can occur at zero available. With this added flexibility, we can define that an inventory tracked item has a certain number available and that agents can still sell it if the system thinks none are available. Or if we need to have what we used to have with unlimited inventory items not being tracked, you can choose to have both of these options checked. And in that case, you just leave your available inventory at zero. This change gives you more control over how the system reacts when it thinks inventory is exhausted and allows agents to sell even when the system's inventory number may be out of date. While we're here, we'll also select all of our items and choose to update product SKUs. From this area, we can update the vendor column on all of our items, as well as update any values around who should be able to sell at zero in order to take advantage of these new features. The next enhancement on our list is an update to donations. We have added support to publicly show the amount of money brought in for a donation program. Let's take a look. We've already pulled up the details for a particular donation program. We're going to scroll down to the additional information section and see the new tally settings. We see that the tally option is already on and is set to tally up the totals between January 1st to December 31st of this year. This allows us to provide a yearly total of giving history for this program that customers can see. This can be updated each year or just set to dates according to your needs. In this case, we can look at a donation page online and see that we've brought in $732 so far. We can also define a tally target, which would be our goal amount for this period of giving. Set that to 5,000. And now that'll update that view in order to show you what you've raised out of your goal along with the percentage of that goal reached. The next enhancement on our list are some updates to the customer order history area in their online account. We have added extra information to make it easier to find the orders that they're looking for. Let's take a look. We'll pull up our account and go to view your orders. Now we can see some useful information for each of these orders. I can see a short description of what was purchased. For instance, we've got some event tickets purchased, some merchandise versus some different memberships. I can also see that the last order still has a balance due that needs to be paid. Now we can find the orders we're looking for a lot easier based on this summary level of details. In order to get to a particular one, we just click on our view order details, and from here we can make a payment on this, or once an order is paid for, we can go ahead and pull up our digital tickets from this order. The next enhancement on our list is with our user cash-in process. We have added the ability to set up a defined set of shifts that can be attached to each user's batch. Let's take a look. We've already opened the sales app and we are ready to start our shift. We will go to Action, Cash In Out, and we see that during my previous shift, that was at matinee time at the concession stand. We'll go ahead and cash in for today's sales, where I can go ahead and define my opening cash amount and pick from our defined list of shifts. This list is controlled by the organization to meet their specific needs. With this extra information, we are able to help group sales by shift. We can also utilize this information in reports to help with things like tip pooling for all employees that work during a shift. The next enhancement on our list is the introduction of single sign-on support. We have added the ability to connect with Microsoft Entra domains in order to allow your users' existing email and password to grant access to the Agile Ticketing app and web portal. Let's take a look. We will start by logging into the Agile Ticketing app. We will provide our domain and choose the SSO or single sign-on option. This will direct us to log in via our organization's main authentication provider, Microsoft Entra. I'll go ahead and provide my email and password. And since our organization has multi-factor security enabled, I have to approve the sign-in. Once I've got that completed on my phone, I am now going to be logged into the app. And we can use the same login option to get into Portal. In this case, I've already signed in on this computer. So whenever I hit the single sign in, since I told it to remember me, it's just going to go ahead and log me back in directly as my test user. A few notes related to the single sign-on support. User records still have to be set up within the Agile Ticketing system in order to establish their connection to their email as well as what security roles they may have access to. There are several benefits to taking advantage of single sign-on. Your users no longer have to worry about having a separate username and password to log into the Agile Ticketing system. Also, password complexity, expiration, and multi-factor options are preserved to meet your organization's security needs. The next enhancement on our list is some changes to the settings area in the admin app. We have started consolidating the functionality from the web portal and our app to have a more unified appearance. Let's take a look. We can jump into one of the settings options like sales line type. We can see that it shares a similar design to our web portal. We could also jump over to say distributors, and we can see that like in the web portal we have other options like to view logs and upload data manually. If for some reason we need to revert back to the old settings views, you can go to the view option in the main menu and choose to view legacy settings. Now let's go ahead and jump over to the full portal and take a look at some new features recently added. So we pulled up an event where we recently added a new VIP tier. We also added an adult price point for that tier. So there are several other events that need this setup as well. So we're going to utilize the Edit Multi-Tier option to make changes to tiers in bulk. In this case, we can propagate or copy this tier's settings and prices to other events that will also have the VIP experience. We'll go ahead and propagate those prices as well. We'll save that. So that goes ahead and gets that particular setup on those other events as well. If we needed to make modifications across multiple, we can change something like the tier priority, or make sure that we are showing the available quantity of those VIPs across all these different events. And this allows us in one operation to make a bulk change to modify these particular settings on these selected events. Next, we'll take a look at System Messages under the Settings area. This functionality has now been added to the portal. With this, admins can post important messages for users to see when they log in. While we're here, we can also take note of the added column filtering options available throughout the portal. We can filter the columns by providing a search criteria, specific condition filtering, or just by picking the ones we want to see. Some lists within the portal also provide further searching and grouping options. Next, we're going to go ahead and pull up that event we were looking at earlier and make note of the option now quickly to go to the check-in whenever you're viewing the event details. Also of note in this area is the ability to see further information about when a ticket was previously redeemed. So we can pull up the details for this particular ticket, and we're able to see which barcode it was and that it was redeemed at scanner 2 earlier today. The last item for this update is that we have performed an internal WCAG, or Web Content Accessibility Guidelines audit. For many years, we have operated under version 2.1 guidelines and have made sure we are now following the guidelines for version 2.2 AA. We made some adjustments to our web purchase process to properly align with these accessibility guidelines. In the coming weeks, we will be filling out an updated VPAT, or Voluntary Product Accessibility Template, so we can provide an accessibility conformance report to any organization that would like a copy. Thank you for joining in so we could explore these new enhancements for our upcoming system update.